This is Andy Perrault for Boxing News. I'm joined by trainer Tony Sims out here in Florida. Tony, always a pleasure. Before we come on to the obvious reason why you're out here, how is life treating you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate that, mate.
Glad to hear it. Now, of course, we had the news that Conor Benn's going to be making his ring return this Saturday night out here on the Hitchins-Zepeda card. Tony, before we get into kind of the nooks and cranks of how it came about and everything going on back home, how relieved on your behalf are you that you now have Conor back and a date now to look forward to on Saturday?
Yeah, of course, I'm pleased for him, and it's been a nightmare. Like last 20 months, it's been a nightmare, and he's a fighter at the end of the day, and he just wants a fight, and he's been through hell and back with these cases, and he's come through them, and now he's licensed to fight, and he's going to be ready to fight on Saturday. He's been in the gym for this fight a good 10 to 12 weeks worth of training. He's been training hard for. So, but then again, he hasn't stopped training the whole time that he's been out. So he's in great condition.
Obviously, a lot of people will kind of question how it's all possible with the ongoing investigation back home with UKAD and British Boxing Board of Control. Have they had to give permission for Conor to be able to fight on Saturday night?
There's not really an ongoing investigation going on, Andy, at the moment. The board has said they're going to appeal because he obviously got cleared of all charges, and the board said they're going to appeal, but you don't know whether they're going to appeal. They said they're going to appeal. We ain't heard not that much yet, so as far as we're concerned, he's cleared to fight, so there's not really much else going on.
You said this to me last week about how the board obviously said they were going to appeal. It came out that they had done so within that 21-day notice period. Have there been any more conversations since then? Have the boards spoken to you about their plans to appeal at all?
No, I've not really heard nothing, to be honest. I ain't heard nothing, so as far as we're concerned, we're cleared to fight, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to fight Saturday.
Obviously, the clear to fight talk's been a big talking point, especially over social media, Tony, simply because of the talk of the appeal. That would mean that UKAD or the board have not cleared him if they're going to appeal the decision. Is that correct? Would people be correct in thinking that he hasn't been cleared?
It's not up to the board and UKAD to clear him. He went in front of the National Anti-Doping Body, which is basically like a court, and he got cleared by them. So whether the board or UKAD want to appeal the decision, it's entirely up to them. But that's who cleared him. So he's basically got found not guilty in the court, and that's what's happened. Now whether they're going to appeal or they want to appeal, that remains to be seen. But at the moment, he's cleared to fight.
With that in mind, then, Tony, why has Conor opted to go and get a licence with the Texas Commission?
He already had that licence before, so he was going to fight 6 months ago until UKAD suspended him. So that's why he had to go back to UKAD and go through this process of getting cleared, which he has done. And then we got the call about this fight may be happening. So then we come out here sort of last minute a couple of days ago.
With obviously what you've said about Conor being cleared, with that in mind, Tony, what exactly can you say that he's been cleared of? So when he went to this meeting with the National Anti-Doping Panel, did they clear him of any wrongdoing? Did they just clear him to fight again? What can you tell me about that?
I don't know the ins and outs of everything that went on, because obviously he's got barristers dealing with that, but I just know that the suspension was lifted, and obviously it was lifted as you wouldn't be able to fight. So the suspension's been lifted and he can fight, so the ins and outs and the politics of it, I don't really know.
Have the board spoken with the Florida Commission and said that anything about this fight, whether they approve, whether they do not approve?
Well, they would have had to, yeah. They would have had to speak to the board, and the board would have had to approve it.
The board approving it, Van, is that a positive sign on your behalf with things moving forwards if they're willing to allow Conor to return out here?
Well, I hope so. He's allowed to box anywhere in the world at the minute. Obviously, if he boxes in England, he's going to have to ask for approval. But listen, this fight come up. He needed to get on a fight card, and to get a bit of rust off of himself. And obviously, once this fight's out of the way, and then he'll have a lot of options of who and when to fight next.
Obviously, with the fight being announced so close to Saturday night, again, people kind of questioning the, I don't say legitimacy of it, but questioning kind of why it's been brought on so late. Do you understand why people are maybe not happy with seeing how this has unfolded, with it being announced only a few days out from fight night?
I ain't really bothered what people are happy and what they're happy and not happy about. It's really got nothing to do with them. Like, they lead their own lives in their own work, and we lead our own lives in our own work. And our job is to train, get ready to fight and fight. What they all want to comment about, let them comment about it. They walk away from their comments and talking on YouTube. They walk away and forget what they've just spoke about and go home to their wife and kids or whatever, you know. So most of it's just for their ratings, for people to see their ratings and their comments on the YouTube. So I'm not really interested in what people say. If you start worrying about what everyone says, you won't do nothing in your life.
You move forwards, Tony, and provided Saturday goes to plan, where do things then sit with the board? Because obviously Conor's spoken about that Chris Eubank Jr fight. I'd imagine you would all want to see that take place back home in the UK, and I imagine in the ideal circumstances under a British Boxing Board of Control licence. So do you expect to see things accelerate beyond Saturday night when Conor's had his first fight back, with conversations with the board, with UKAD, to try and get a resolution on that behalf?
Yeah, I hope so. And as I say, I don't know what's happening with the appeal. I don't know the ins and outs of it. But I think if they do appeal, they can appeal. It'll probably be up in the next few weeks anyway. But yeah, of course, the fight would be of magnitude in the UK. And but like Conor will have other options. He'll obviously be ranked back in the 147 ratings, and he's always wanted to win a world title. So there'll be other options out there for him as well. But obviously the Eubank fight is probably the biggest fight in Britain, apart from like Fury, Joshua, and it may be on par with that fight actually. So we'll have to wait and see anyway. But he'll have plenty of options after this fight.
What with a hope then, beyond again Saturday night, that junior fight, let's say, realistic for the end of this year?
Say that again.
Realistic for the end of this year, maybe say a Chris Eubank Jr fight or a big fight for Conor to return to?
Yeah, he'll be in a big fight before the end of the year. We'll see what options are. I mean, the main thing is to get this fight out of the way, to get back into the ring again. You know, as I say, he's trained hard for this fight, and it's the main thing, just to get back fighting again, really.
Conor's opponent might be somebody who many are familiar with come Saturday, so what can you tell everybody about what are you hoping he brings out of Conor for his first fight in, 18, 19 months now?
Yeah, he's Mexican. I think he's lost 3 fights out of 30 odd fights, and he's never been stopped. So he's a durable opponent. Obviously, it's up at 154, so it'll be the first time Conor's boxed up at that weight, but he'll still be able to make the 147 limit easily enough. But obviously, this fight come about and pretty late notice, so obviously we took the fight.
What are you hoping that Conor kind of takes away from this? Because I saw his first interview that he did with Matchroom, where he said he wasn't as keen to get into the ring for a warm-up, but it was something which you kind of pushed him towards because you wanted him to get that feeling of being in and involved in a fight week again.
Yeah, I think most boxing people or most boxing trainers would probably say the same thing, that when the fighter's been out of the ring for quite a period of time, whether it be through injury or whatever, you like to get a warm-up fighting before you go into anything big. And it's just about the dieting again, and which you kind of forget about, the dieting, and also like the ring fight nerves, walking to the ring, little things like that, changing room. So, you know, I want him to get back in there and get all that out of the way before he goes into a big fight.
Just moving away from Conor, Tony, just get your thoughts on a couple of the other guys in the gym. Obviously, you've got Jordan Thompson getting ready for next week. Is it difficult for you being away so close to such a big fight with Jordan?
Yeah, very difficult. But listen, I've got a good assistant in Kevin Mitchell, and he knows the program, and he's been working alongside me for quite a while now. So, you know, he knows his program for this week, and I'll be back into the gym. Obviously, I'll fly back Sunday. I'll be back into the gym Monday, so it'll be like a week away from him. But he's in great condition anyway. The condition he's in now, he could literally fight this Saturday. He's in really good nick, and you know, I'm pleased with what he's done in the gym, and it's just about keeping momentum this week and being ready for next Saturday.
What's the key to success for him next Saturday? I know you don't want to give too much away, Tony, but I've seen a few people comment that maybe if he's going to do it, he needs to have that early success. He needs to hurt Jai Opetaia early, somewhat gain his respect, and maybe create those doubts in Jai's mind, because it's the first fight he's fought since coming back from his broken jaw.
Yeah, like Jai's a good fighter. Obviously, Jordan Thompson, he's like 6'7". He's a very big man. He punches extremely hard with both hands. So, you know, someone like that, with their appearance and their power, is always going to be in the fight, whether it be early doors or late in the fight. So, we're just going to have to wait and see, really. You know, it's going to be an interesting fight, as you say. Opetaia's coming off of a major injury. You know, boxed for a while, so it's going to be really interesting.
I mean, obviously Joe Cordina out in early November, a nice little trip out to France there, Tony. How's Joe been looking since I last caught up with you guys?
Yeah, Joe's in camp, and same thing again. I'm away for the week, but Kevin's working with Joe as well, so he knows the program. And yeah, he's got a tough Mexican, and you know, Joe will be in great condition come round fight night. And obviously he's boxed in Monaco before. He beat Tinoco, the other Mexican kid, and so he knows all about Monaco, and he'd be looking forward to making the first defence of that title.
Has it been something which maybe you've drilled into him not to get complacent? Or I'm not saying that's the case. I know Joe's a very, very professional man, but obviously we've seen a number of shock results over the last couple of years. I always say the one which springs to mind was Maurizio Lara when he first defeated Josh Warrington. This isn't the mouth-watering fight which I imagine Joe wanted. So is it something which kind of you're drilling into him to ensure that gets through this fight, and then it is those big fights which get the juices flowing?
Yeah, I think Joe's a really good professional. He always trains really hard, and you know, you don't have to spur Joe on for anything. He's just one of them individuals that wants to be the best at what he does, and you know, he knows the Mexican fighters come to fight. He's a come forward fighter, this kid. So I said to him a couple of weeks ago, you remember when you fought first for the world title, then, you know, when you're the challenger, you're going to give everything you've got, you know, and this is what the Mexican will be doing. But I just think Joe's a league above this kid, and the outcome should be, you know, a victory for Joe Cordina.
Tony, I appreciate your time. Now I'm sure you want to go and enjoy the rest of this beautiful weather we have in Florida, because we don't have much of it back in the UK. So I'll leave you now to go catch up with the team. Enjoy your day, and thank you for speaking to me on Boxing News.
Thanks, Andy. Cheers, mate.